It's the 13th of October, 2021. It's about the fourth time I've tried to do this because it's just so complicated and convoluted that you're just going to have to bear with me for a moment. Forgive the glasses, I need to read some of this. On the 6th of October, there was a call in the middle of the day. It's almost 1 o'clock on Helvic and Palo Verde. Let's say the apartment is on the Palo Verde side of that complex. It's at 1 Helvic. There's a call, there's some sort of disturbance, a bunch of cops show up, and the bad guys took off. There was 3 individuals that were involved in the assault, burglary, and kidnapping of what I believe to be a female. That showed a female victim in that. There was 2 female victims in that case. One was assaulted. I think the other one had been taken from the scene. That was the kidnapping charge. That woman reportedly was the girlfriend of one of the individuals that showed up, but there's a rumor that she was seeing somebody in the apartment. So, later that day around 3 o'clock, they arrest an Anthony Terrell Effinger, who has a pretty extensive record. He's got state prison time, case after case after case, 53 years old, been around the block, been around Seaside for a while. 2 other suspects that weren't apprehended are a Herbert Andrew Stevenson, who through the court records I found has a warrant. And then there's a Master Jydn Andrew Stevenson, who's probably in his early 20s, and they have a warrant out for his arrest as well. Those are the other 2 suspects named in the charges that were filed by Monterey County District Attorney's Office. Everyone's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. So now we get to the quote victims list. Oh man, the person that lives at that residence, his name, which name do you want to go by, is Jeramie Daniel Works. When I looked him up, all I found was 4 traffic citations. One where he was driving somebody that lives on Co Avenue's car. That's the registered owner, driving at 98 miles per hour on the freeway in a 65. Maybe the officer was being kind and didn't write him for 100 and take his license. I don't know. Another one I found, there was and this guy's got a unique spelling to his first name. There was a Jeramie Daniel Cesarek as the registered owner of the vehicle. I said, well, that's odd. It's spelt the same way. What are the odds of that? So I went and looked up the Cesarek individual, and I came back and it showed me mugshots of the guy that I believe to be is Works, Jeramie Works. I sent it off to some folks, and they said, yeah, that's the guy. That's him. That's Works. So he had lived back in Winnebago, Illinois, Rockford, Illinois, Aurora, Colorado. I got a bunch of different arrest sheets on him, same age, etc. And then it shows that Cesarek and Works both live at that when you do a search on him. So I'm going, well, why is this guy changing his name, and what's he got to hide? Well, he's got drug charges. Imagine that. So then he was assaulted with a crossbow. Now, I don't know how you assault somebody with a crossbow. I mean, you could shoot somebody or maybe bonk them on the head with it or something. I don't know. But I thought that was interesting because 3 other individuals, a David Pegrosi, who's got a boatload of drug charges in his background, and, simple things like not having registration or, not having a license, et cetera, et cetera. And he, by the way, lists his profession as a caddy out at Pebble Beach. I don't know how you do that. And he was kind enough to leave his Facebook page open so I could see who all his friends are, and then I can cross-reference all these folks and see who's associated with who and how. So then he was hit with a baseball bat. And then there's George Cordell Hill, who's got, that's just one time. George has been to prison. I know who George is. He was there's some cousins on the other side of the family, and he'd apparently gone shooting with my brother one time, and he thought, you know, cousins and family, and, you know, we'll go to Laguna Seca. Well, George stole his Walther PPK. Never got it back. So, wonderful guy. I wouldn't put it past George to have set this whole thing up so that he'd get a piece of the action, because that's how I see him. Anyways, he got hit with a baseball bat. I don't know where or how hard. Some people deserve it. There was a female there who has a name that comes back to nothing. And she was hit with the baseball bat as well. So you've got all these shady characters in the middle of the day at an apartment that's right down the street from a school where, you know, the bus stop you have to go past if you're going to like the city bus or something. And then there's a Starbucks and a parking lot with a lot of people, and there's a Montage Health and et cetera, right there in that parking lot, people that work there, and all this crap is going on. And you see guys with extensive criminal records, prison records. The older of the two, the Herbert, I didn't check to see, but his caseload, boatloads of felonies and misdemeanors and everything else in Monterey County. So it'd be interesting to see, and I'm kind of curious as to why the police use Jeramie Works as Jeramie Works and not as in his real name, because that's the way they wrote it in the report. Did they not check to see who their victims are, or do they just take their word for it? I don't know. But I did find it interesting that he's got all this other stuff, and I wonder if the landlord ever did a background check on him, because Works comes back to nothing but a couple of traffic tickets. And if you look at Jeramie Daniel Cesarek, he's got all kinds of crap in his background, and you're just going, yeah, how would you like that? You're a landlord and you're trying to do your due diligence, and you come to find out the guy you let in your house likes, you know, drugs and, you know, hangs out with drug dealers and crap like that. So anyways, that's what happened on Helvic. If I find out anything about the female victim who was reportedly kidnapped, I'll update when I get it. She's probably a Jane Doe. I think I read that in the case. They didn't give out her name, which is fine. I just, you know, it'd be nice to know if she's okay or not. The other two characters, they have warrants out for their arrests, and I'm pretty sure if there's any halfway decent seaside police officer who's been around for a while, he'll know exactly where to go to find them. Not so much in Monterey. They're not up on, well, there's a handful of Monterey cops that are old school that know some of these people from back in the day. But, you know, if you grew up on Darwin and Mingo like I did, then you know who's who. Anyways, that's the update on that. Hopefully they get this guy out of the neighborhood, even though he was a quote victim. Don't need druggies running in and out of that neighborhood. It's a nice neighborhood. There's a little ballpark down there on Encina. We used to go play Little League and stuff like that, or just play. Anyways, peace out.